What's up, everybody? Well, Skype is no longer available. We thought Teams was going to be an option, no go, but we're pretty much at the end of the second round of the NBA playoffs, and I couldn't be more excited. I know you guys couldn't either here with Justin and Casey. How you doing today, Casey?
I'm here.
That's about my sentiment as well.
Better than Jason Tatum can say. Tough break, man.
I mean, the man was dropping dropped like 42, 45 points, and then bam.
So I want to start here if you guys are okay with this.
That's
There's
totally fine.
you know Justin, and I want to preference this by saying I understand. I know you're a Celtics fan, buddy. I get it. I get it.
Hmm.
Um, I, personally, I could be wrong on this. I feel out of us three, I'm probably the biggest Celtics fan out of us three. Just and so I need to preference that by
The
Well,
saying
argument
I'm
could be
not.
made. The argument could be made.
so. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, guys. I was prepared to rip this team apart tonight. I was prepared to absolutely annihilate them in my analysis.
Lay it
As
into
big of a
him.
fan as I am,
Just lay it into him.
I mean, I was planned to let them have it with every ounce of my fandom. But after that injury last night, which I don't think they were going to win the game even if he stayed healthy. New York was on a really really strong run that Boston couldn't seem to answer even with Jason Tatum. But after that injury last night, the wins and the losses they kind of go out the window at that point. This is a possible franchise altering type of injury. Think about the trajectory of where we saw the Celtics last week compared to where they are now. We possibly Al Horford more than likely is going to retire at the end of this season. This is more than likely the last game that we have seen Jason Tatum play with Kristaps Porzingis. It's possibly the last game we've seen him played with Drew Holiday, and it's on the table that it's the last game that we've seen Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown play together. There is a lot of options going into this offseason for Boston. I'm not the one as skeptic and as hesitant as I am about this team. I don't think that this series is 100% over yet. I think they're going to rally behind their home crowd tomorrow. And I do think tomorrow, at the very least, they are going to pull out a win and push this series to a game six. If they happen to win game six, we know anything can happen in a game seven. But this currently constructed Celtics team, I think we will never see it again. I think
It's got a
there's so
shelf
many.
life. It's got a shelf
Yeah,
life.
it absolutely does. And I think that shelf life hit its peak yesterday. I don't foresee it extending past the season whatsoever. But I want to speak on the injury impact of Jason Tatum.
Hmm.
This is the same exact injury that Kevin Durant suffered about 6 years ago in the finals against the Toronto Raptors.
Kobe Bryant had the same
And
injury too.
Kobe Bryant had the same injury too. That's absolutely correct. And so I'm not saying that Tatum cannot or will not get back to the same caliber of player that he currently is, but there's a lot of work that's going to need to be done because there's a very solid chance that he is going to be out all of next season too. This is a 9 month to a year recovery. Now, if they make some bold moves in the offseason, can they be contenders at this point next year at the time frame he comes back? Sure. Will they? I don't know. They have a $500 million roster right now, so there's definitely key pieces that are going to have to be let go. And I think that's going to be Horford. I think that's going to be Porzingis, and I think that's going to be Drew Holiday. Now, what the Celtics need to do, of course, is look at the options that are going to be presented to them. By no means do I think this is going to happen, but I'm pretty sure Luka Doncic is a free agent. May want to take a look into that. I think he's going to sign with LA. I do. I think he's going to resign with LA.
Hmm.
I really do. But that's on the wing and a prayer type thing as far as the Luka Doncic aspect of it. But you got to take a look at an Austin Reeves. You got to take a look at a Miles Turner. You got to take a look at a Jimmy Butler. Hell, even Kevin Durant. Give him a call. There are so many different options that are available to Boston right now. And with Brad Stevens being the almost genius manipulator that he is, I hope there is something that happens within this offseason that keeps Boston above water until Jason Tatum can come back next year. Um, but about the Celtics themselves, guys, even without that injury, I feel they were going to lose last night. And this was going to be a lot of my soliloquy before Tatum ended up getting hurt. Last night was another prime example of this team being mentally weak. It's another example of the same ugly headed monster that I've talked about all season long with this team. And that's blowing double digit leads. It happened 3 times in this series. Two 20-point leads, and they had a 14-point lead last night in the third quarter. And they could not sustain it. Ian and Justin, you guys could probably count how many times this season I have had to tell you the Celtics cannot keep a big lead. They become a different team. They become lackadaisical on defense, and all they do is hoist up threes at that point. There was at least 7 or 8 times that I can remember off the top of my head saying it on this show in particular. Their championship window very well may be closed for this currently constructed team. There's a lot that needs to be done in the offseason. Got to give credit to the Knicks, though. You really do. They have been resilient. They have shown that they are not afraid of the Celtics. And it showed that the 4-0 regular season that Boston had against them doesn't add up to a hill of beans in the playoffs, guys. And that's my opening statement.
That was such a um somebody who had money on the Celtics. I had a -9.5, but that was such a frustrating game to watch, man. Tatum, I honestly, at the end of the game, I turned it off because the shit was over. Didn't even see the injury till this morning. He's not gonna play until 2027. Now you're gonna have to see what you're gonna do around Jaylen Brown. But I mean, they had a 20-point comeback in game one, 20-point comeback in game two. This game, they come out just absolutely rolling. I mean, me and Justin were talking in the chat about the dagger that Tatum hit. Like you said, shout out to the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, clutch player of the year. They've definitely done their thing. Karl Anthony Towns went from looking like he was gonna flame out, and he ended up having a pretty decent game. I'm not counting the Celtics out either, man. I think defensively, I really like them. But Brunson, they just haven't been, they weren't able to find an answer for last night. And Bridges, I thought he was going to be the X factor coming in. Um, but I think they could still, I think the Celtics could still do it. Now it's gonna be, like you said, like Casey said, it was a franchise altering injury. I don't even know if last time I've seen, because seeing ones this magnitude, because you go from being able to next year be able to maybe fill a few pieces and just keep the train rolling. You're now going to have to go with Jaylen Brown as your best player. You're not getting Tatum back for another year, and you don't know what you're getting back coming back after being out for an entire season. Maybe some of those trades we were talking about yesterday in the chat, maybe they will try to get Cooper Flag because they're going to be in a tough position. But I'm excited, man. I still got the Celtics in seven, like straight up. I'm looking into the camera. I'm looking into the camera. Celtics in seven. I think they're better than the Knicks, and the Knicks cannot stop them when the Celtics. They just have to hit their threes, and don't take dumbass threes. The Celtics are fine when they move the ball. Don't come and jack up a shot. Jaylen Brown, granted, he picked up 2 early fouls, but he was aggressive. Just keep doing that. I still like the Celtics, man. I still think they're the better team.
They
I
are the better
think
team on paper, true,
on
but
paper,
on paper. But and I said this earlier today. I think the dirty and I've said it. You joked about it last week or week before, whether or not the play from Orlando was dirty. I will say it in the camera. It was dirty. I think a lot of the dirty play that Orlando pulled has caused enough bumps and bruises with the Celtics that it's hampered them. Um, and not to say that had anything to do with Tatum's injury, because obviously his injury is in the Orlando series was his wrist, not his foot and ankle. But Porzingis has hardly played this series at all. He's been
apparently that's due to some mystery illness that I'm not understanding. They're not releasing what it is.
it's enough to keep him hampered, and he's a shell of himself. So he's not Porzingis as he has been before. So that's a liability on its own. And Al Horford, God love him. I mean, he's a defensive liability when he's having to defend out on the perimeter. I mean, Brunson blows
He
by him
can't
every
guard
single
that.
time.
And he can't guard Karl Anthony Towns at all.
No, he can't. He can't. And I mean, God, I mean, Pritchard was defending Towns, and he was holding his own for a little while. I'll give him credit for that. Um, but no, Jason Williams on Get Up or First Take today said, and I think it's absolutely right. The Celtics, in the span of a second, went from contender to rebuild in a split second. When Tatum's ankle popped, that was the end of this run. And I mean, I know we're all homering out like Celtics in seven. We're gonna win it for the Gipper, as it were, and I want them to. Don't get me wrong, but you're absolutely right. This is the last run for this group as constructed. I do
Yeah.
think an aging Horford will retire. Holiday may also retire. He's had some injury issues as well, and he's also 34, 36 years old. Um,
He's aging right before our eyes,
he
too.
really is.
He's a shell of himself from what he was last year. An absolute shell of himself.
I
Nobody can
still
stop Brunson.
Tatum has been able to. That's it. Tatum hadn't been able to man up on him.
He controls
We're
the
gonna
pace
need
so well. I think Brunson does.
we're gonna we're gonna need a full team effort tomorrow for them. I think, and they never will. Joe Mazzulla never will, which frustrates me to no end. The Celtics need to completely rehaul their game plan tomorrow and get to the paint and just keep attacking in the paint. Get Mitchell Robinson in foul trouble. Get Karl Anthony Towns in foul trouble. Just keep attacking. Keep attacking. Jaylen Brown has superb athleticism. He can get to the cup. He struggles going to the left. He's not the greatest ball handler, but set screens for him and let him use his athleticism to its natural ability.
And in game one, they had Towns on four fouls in the first half. They had him on the ropes. And then they were doing the hack of, well, Robinson all game. So, but at the same time, I mean, he wasn't hitting his foul shots until last night or the night before, the game before. So that there's that too. But you're absolutely right. I mean, Brown is probably, I mean, Missoula won't admit to it, but his game plan philosophy is rain as many threes as you can, and eventually enough will get in and bludgeon them to death, and that's all it's going to take. There is
And
no interior presence that they're establishing. I mean, for God's sake, the Knicks outscored the Celtics by nearly 40 points last night in the paint alone.
With
and let's
Towns, essentially.
yeah, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And Joe Mazzulla, let's call it spade a spade. Actually, let's put it like that. Let's call it spade a spade. Tom Thibodeau has outclassed Joe Mazzulla at every turn in this series. At every single turn, he's been outclassed. And it's the same
Yeah.
thing that happened to Joe Mazzulla against Eric Spoelstra back in 2023. He got outclassed, he got outcoached, and he would not make adjustments. And it's the same thing that we're seeing in this series.
The thing that gets me, and I get Celtics are down 3-1, they just lost Jason Tatum. This is not the 05-06 Lakers where Smush Parker is the second best player. This is still a good ass team. The
They're
Porzingis
good.
thing, I'm
They're good, yes, but it, you're only as good as your best player.
but
And Tatum is leaps and bounds better than Jaylen Brown.
no, I agree.
Yes.
I don't think they're even in the same. I used to have a friend that used to argue that Jaylen Brown was better. I was like, no, it's not even a conversation. So, no, I agree with you there. I'm just saying a supporting cast. Yeah, Derek White's lost step, Drew Holiday's lost step, but Derek White just ran in 4 threes in the first. Like they still have a good team. It's not like they have Tatum and a bunch of Brown's not the same level
No,
as Tatum, but
I
just a
agree.
team.
They're not a bunch of scrubs. This is true. They're not a bunch of scrubs.
It's gonna be
But
tough.
it's going to be tough. And the Knicks they smell blood. There's blood in the water, obviously. Sometimes in some aspects, literally. Um, and I mean, they're gonna gut one out. I agree, Casey. And then we'll see what happens when they go back to New York. If again, assuming they do gut one out, I'm
To say
hopeful that they will.
The Cel-
I'm
I
hopeful that
think
they will.
they will. I think they will. I think they'll gut out the win tomorrow, and then I'm not sure what happens from there. I mean, not praying for it by any stretch, but anything aside of an injury to Jalen Brunson, I can't foresee. I I know I said it in the chat, Celtics in seven. I want to rally behind that, but when you break it down logically and realistically, it just doesn't seem very likely. I mean, the only thing, and this is the only thing that I could see altering this series, of course, again, like outside of an injury to a Nick player, is that without Tatum, mainly maybe Missoula is finally forced to alter his plan, and maybe they don't jack up 53s tomorrow night, and maybe they run key plays to get him into the paint. And they get easy looks, they get easy buckets. And of course, they are the Celtics, so they are going to take at least 25 to 33s. We know that. But if they can hit 12 of those 30, and if they can get clear shots in the paint, we if they can continue to do that for the rest of the entire series, who knows what's going to happen? But
Crazier
I'm
things have
just not
happened.
convinced.
Yeah,
I can't
I
see it.
think it's gonna be, and it's not going to be enough to. I mean, they're going to be on an emotional win one for JT on Tuesday or on Wednesday. I think is it Wednesday?
Yeah, tomorrow. It's
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah,
They're gonna have an emotional let's win one for Jason tomorrow, but I don't think it'll be enough to go back to MSG and steal one back from there to force a
S-
game seven.
Speaking of steal
no, because
one, Pacers are down six. Just wanted to point that out. They caught all the way up. Hey, Casey.
Pacers are down five. Um, so here's what I was thinking about that aspect of it, Justin. I agree, and I think you're saying it perfectly. Tomorrow night, what they're going to do is they're going to rally, they're going to fight for JT, and I think they'll edge out a win. I think it's going to be the first close game that they win in this playoff series. Um, I don't think that they will be able to hang in another close game against the Knicks. They've shown they struggle with that ability, regardless of who's on the floor for them or not. They don't seem to can't play with the Knicks in crunch time. I think due to the I hate using these words like emotions and you know uh almost like a
Art.
crowd like a six man on the floor type thing for them. I don't really believe in that in sports. I just think it's the X's and the O's and the players and the Jimmys and the Joes. Like, but something in my head is telling me tomorrow they are going to pull it out for JT. But I think that's going to mentally exude them, and I think they're going to be done after that. Unfortunately,
Nah, New York is gonna have. I mean, you talk about if they have a chance to close out the Celtics in Game Six, a vulnerable Celtics team. The Celtics for the most part have jumped out on their ass in every single game. I think the Knicks fans can turn against them in Game Six. It's not gonna be like all these things that we're saying. Every single one of them has to go right, otherwise this ain't happening. But I don't know, man. I like
And here's the other thing to look at it, and this is a positive thing to look at it from the Celtics perspective. Now they're playing with house money.
that's true.
yeah, nobody
They
expects
are.
them to win. There's no pressure on
Now that
Boston.
they're underdogs. Absolutely. Now that they're underdogs. But what frustrates me beyond belief about this particular team right now, guys, this series should be over. It should have been a Celtics sweep.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're down
Blown
three
By
on
all,
the
220
line.
point down 220 blown 220 point leads. They should have been up 2-0 going into New York. They won game 3 and they were up 14 last night. This should have been a sweep.
should have. Absolutely should have.
When the Lakers and the Nuggets played back in 20 or the first round, so I think it was 2023, whatever it was. Um Maybe it was last year. The Lakers were up. I don't know if you guys remember a good amount of that series. The Nuggets, I don't know if they swept or they won in five. That didn't feel like it feels like the Celtics are dominating this series. And then
The
the Knicks
Celtics,
just sneak up every single time, except game three.
you guys
And I
realize in this series, the Celtics have spent more time ahead by double digits than they have trailing in this series.
That's insane.
the
And
Knicks have
And
led
they're
for
down
less than
3-1.
15 minutes of the entire series. No, but what I would say is I said this at the beginning of the season. The only thing that can legitimately derail them was injury. Here you go.
I don't know. I know what you mean by that, and it's a very astute point. But I don't know if they were going to win this series with or without JT at this point. Like he was on the floor when the Knicks were on their 17-3 run or whatever it was to go up 7 in the fourth quarter.
There
Okay.
was still 3.5 minutes left to play when he got hurt.
Yeah, but they after because it was the steal Anunoby dunked it was to make it 109-102. So they were down 7 with 3 minutes. Analytically, there's not a great chance of coming back from that.
I defensively, I think it would have been enough of a at least to make it closer than it ended up being.
I agree. I don't disagree with that, but it's one of those. It's one of these series that's head scratching. You can't
It's
quite
Yeah.
put your finger on what the hell is happening.
That's why you always hear coaches in all sports, 48 minutes, 48 minutes. You know what I mean? Like you got to play
A
all
la
48
Belichick,
minutes.
yeah, you got to play all 60-minute football games, 48 minutes
It
court.
In the
it's
Absolutely.
almost
third,
like
mhm.
it's almost like when the Celtics get up by 15 to 20 points. I said it like kind of jokingly in the chat last night. It's almost like they expect the teams just to lay down and quit.
Hmm.
Like they go up 20 and their whole composure changes. They think in their head, oh, this 20 points, this is over. They would just coast. You can't do that in the NBA, especially in the playoffs. They blew 8 or 9, maybe even 10, 11, 20-point leads off the course of the regular season. This is what they did. It's
Is
not
this
a blip anymore. It's a trend.
is this a Missoula problem with that?
Yes, 100% it's a Missoula problem.
You go into the half up by 11. You come out of the third quarter up or down by 3. It is a Missoula problem. I mean, because I would think it was a good comparison that Merritt made back, or sorry, Casey made back to the series back against Miami. He's just getting out coached. I do think that New York has made the best of, some opportunities. But it's just they're just not able to hold. I don't like any of those cliche terms either. I don't know if it's that dog, but they don't. I mean, they could have 20-pieced them in the first half. Like that game could have gotten ugly. Like they were doing whatever they wanted with the Knicks. Derek White was 4 for 4 in the first quarter, and he got foul, and Towns was in foul trouble. You
I'm
know
going
what
to
I
quote the
mean?
Lion
So
King. I'm going to quote the Lion King here. Didn't your mother ever tell you not to play with your food? That's what they were doing.
that's what they've done all series. I mean, you have
That's what they've done
two.
all year. Forget the series. It's been all year.
And Casey's come in every week and said it, so I can't dispute that.
It's been all year. They know they're better than everyone else on paper, and they don't play like it, and at least not on a consistent basis at all.
On a side note, Indiana has come all the way back and they're down. Casey might be a little ahead of me, but for me, it shows they're down by 4. It's about to be halftime. That offense is crazy, man.
Do not sleep on Indiana.
No, I don't. Their offense is
I right now I'm assuming that the Knicks are going to go through. I've got Indiana in the East.
I'm really thinking about Indiana in the East too. Like their offense is so they can't. They have literally everybody can. That's who I use on 2K when I play.
Hmm. But you came a long ass time.
Um, um, I think we have hit our 40 minutes.
Have we really?
Dang, I saw it said some. Oh, nope, we are still going. We have 9 minutes and 40 seconds to go. So I guess it's something with Zoom. We can, record a part 2. We're about 30 something minutes in. Um,
Yeah, we can do
well,
that.
yeah, we'll kind
Yeah,
of,
we'll do a part two. It's fine.
yeah, I
Yeah.
guess, I'll just
New
upload.
tech, new tech, new things.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm trying to think of, let me see. You guys go ahead. I'm just making sure everything is good with the meeting.